If you've made somewhere between 0 and 20 sales on Etsy, or you've made sales but they feel completely random and you have no idea why they happened, I need you to listen for a hot minute because I'm about to run something I only do a couple of times a year. It is called, drumroll please, the Listathon, and it's completely free live challenge starting the 16th of March where I'm going to walk you through fixing the core foundations of your listings properly. We're not adding more products. We're not posting more on Instagram. We're not working harder. I'm not adding anything more to your plate because guess what? We are fixing what's already sitting in your shop. The titles, the photos, the structure, the bits that quietly decide whether someone buys or whether they click away. So if you're tired of refreshing your dashboard and hoping something changes, this is the moment you stop hoping and start fixing. It's live trainings by me, it's free, and it's honestly business changing. It's for the handmade business owner who knows their products are good, but their shop just isn't pulling its weight yet. Spots are open now. Go to handmadebosses.com/listathon week. Link will also be below, and get yourself signed up to this free life-changing challenge. I promise you, you're going to love it and you're going to take something amazing away from it. If you've been setting up your Etsy shop for weeks now, tweaking things, changing your mind, rewording descriptions, redesigning your brand and your banners and God knows what, and you still haven't made a single sale or really got your Etsy shop up and running, this episode is going to be for you. Today, I'm going to show you the absolute bare minimum you need to open properly, like an actual step-by-step list, what actually needs doing first, what can wait without consequences, and how to stop feeling busy so that you feel like you're productive, but these are all things and tasks that aren't really getting you closer to the sale. The real question that we are going to answer today is what genuinely has to be done before you're allowed to stop setting up and start selling your product. If we haven't met before, hello, my name is Steph and I'm the founder of Handmade Bosses. I spend a lot of time looking at shops that haven't made their first sale yet. Not because the products are bad, but because the owner is stuck in setup mode. They're trying to protect themselves from basically doing it wrong. And I do hear this on a consistent basis. Something like, I'm not ready yet, or I just want to tweak a few more things, or I don't think it's quite finished. I don't feel like it's ready. But when I actually look at their shop, they've usually done far more than they actually needed to. They've just kind of done it in the wrong order. So what we're all about in today's episode is setting up in a way that is not perfect, but you know what? It's going to get you your first sale. So here's the thing I want you to remember. An Etsy shop does not need to be finished before it goes live. It just needs to be functional. Functional means someone lands on your shop, they understand what you sell, they trust you enough to buy, and they can check out without feeling confused about what they're about to get through the mail. Anything beyond that at this stage should be an optional thing. So let's actually go through this. Functional versus finished. I've got up on screen a couple of columns and I just want to go through this with you. So finished is like fancy branding, okay, which you do need, but you don't need it yet, okay? A full product range, okay, like a lot, 50 plus. Your photos being perfect, and 50 plus listings. I do see that a lot where people will say, I can't start my shop until I've got 50 listings, 30, whatever, arbitrary number that they've heard someone say on TikTok, right? Now, functional is one clear product, okay? One clear listing, basics filled in, and a clear price. Now we're going to be going through exactly what all these things are, okay? Now, one thing about the functional side of this is that if it works, it's ready. It doesn't have to be an impressive thing yet. So step one, let's get into it. So you need one clear product. And yes, one clear product is really, truly enough. You need these things. One product that's clear, okay? That you can make again and again and again, okay? You've practiced it, you know it hands down, you're happy with it, okay? One product that you know the cost of, okay? So one product that you're like, I know how much that cost me to make, okay? and I understand all maybe like the hidden cost, things like chain and ribbon and findings and tools. I know how much that's going to cost me to make. Okay. The third thing is a product that solves a clear problem or fits a clear use. It's no good making a product because it looks pretty or it's like nice. You have to find that hidden meaning. Why should someone buy it? Why would someone need it? Okay. I'm not saying need it as in like a pint of milk or a loaf of bread, but like, let's say you sell jewelry. I get this question a lot. People will say, well, hey, Steph, like I make jewelry. People don't need jewelry, but they might need it because they feel like their work uniform is so boring. They want to express themselves in some way, shape or form so that they don't like mentally feel like they're losing their personality at work. That seems like a pretty deep need to me. So here's a sentence that kind of helps you with that, okay? And I want you to actually fill this in. So it's, I help blank by making blank for blank. And actually, just by filling that out, it's just going to make this whole process feel a lot easier, okay? Now, if you can't finish that sentence, you still need to do some work before you can finish the setup. Like, I'm being real with you. You are going to have to really understand what that sentence is. And if you haven't watched the last episode, I think it's episode 104, I would pause this, go and watch/listen to that, and then come back to this, because that's going to help you a little bit more here. But the thing here is that you need to understand what that sentence means for you and your business. Yes, it can change, but I think you need a kind of decent understanding of it before we get into the nitty gritty of, okay, let's make sure our shop is ready to make our first sale. So here's some examples of that. I make personalized wooden name signs for children's bedrooms. I sell soy wax candles designed as housewarming gifts, or I make crochet baby blankets for new parents, okay? Those are really good examples. Some not so good examples are, I kind of make a few different things. I'm a gift shop. I'm still experimenting. I didn't want to niche too early and everything outside of that, okay? So here is your permission slip. If you can explain and finish this sentence, I help blank by making blank for blank. If you can finish that, you're allowed to move on, okay? If you haven't, then you can't. You're going to have to pause this and you're going to have to go through and finish that. Step 2, one good enough listing. Not 10, not 50, just one. One solid listing will teach you more than a shop full of half-finished ones. A good enough listing includes these things. Clear photos where the product is the obvious focus. Okay, so it's very obvious what you're actually buying. A title that says what the product actually is. Okay, now a very short little side quest moment for Steph about titles. When we've done a lot of testing, I know that a few months ago, Etsy was like, hey, everyone needs to change their titles to the shorter version. Honestly, a lot of the people that I coach, and even people who are in my email list, a free community, a vast majority of them have said that their traffic and their sales have tanked ever since they've done that. I am not a fan of the shorter titles myself because I'm like, hey, well, I'm not saying to keyword stuff because that's awful and you shouldn't be doing it, but if they're giving you 150 characters of SEO space, my God, I'm going to be using every inch of that space. So, you know, do whatever you want to do. But for me, in my testing with thousands of different students, honestly, the shorter title thing has always come back a little bit bleh. So if you are watching this and maybe your traffic or your sales have tanked, it's probably because you kind of did the whole Etsy thing and changed your titles and used their tool. It doesn't really work. Okay, the third thing is a description, aka sales copy, that explains 3 things, okay? And it's these 3 things here. That is what it is, who it's for, and when someone would buy it, okay? I'm just writing this on the screen in my terrible handwriting, okay? So let's just go through these, right? What it is, okay? This is where you need to just clearly explain, because don't forget, your target audience, they cannot pick your product up. They cannot hold it in their hand and turn it around. You need to show not tell, show what the item actually is and how they could use it in their lives. So if it's a bath bomb, show it on a corner of your bathtub, right? If it's a piece of jewelry, shown it being worn. Some of my pet peeves is not having some kind of lifestyle imagery within your listings, okay? It's that lifestyle imagery that's going to increase your conversion rate. It's going to increase the amount of people that buy from you, okay? Because then people can instantly sense and see what it's going to be like when it's in their hands. Okay, who it's for. Might seem like an obvious one, but you need to know who your target audience is. Going back up to this sentence here, I help blank by making blank for blank. That is a big step there. So actually knowing who your shop and your brand is for is a massive deal, because you cannot create anything within your business without understanding your target person, why you are creating that thing and who it's for. Now, the third thing, when would someone buy this? Like, at what point would they go on Etsy or on Google and search for that particular thing? Would it be like a baby shower gift, a moving house gift? Would it be a basket for a bathroom to store toiletries? Like, why would someone need that product? And if you are making things that you just make because you think they look nice, we actually want to get to the root, the bottom thing of that. That's like, okay, why really are people buying? Like, what's the real thing? A little tip for this is just keep asking yourself why. So let's say you make soy wax essential oil candles, right? And you say, well, Steph, I don't know why anyone would need a candle. So let me ask you this. Why do you make what you make? And you might say, well, because I don't like toxic candles. They used to make my nose run. They used to make my other half's throat really, really sore. And I just loved candles, but I didn't like how they made me feel. Okay. Then I say to you, cool. Okay. Write that down. Why? Because I don't think burning candles should damage your health. Okay. Why? All right. Steph, well, I think that candles should be for everybody. It doesn't matter what your health issues are, what your allergies are. I don't know, whatever. And then I say, okay, cool. Why? And then you as a candle maker might say something like, well, you know, Steph, like the essential oils in these candles, they actually do really help me in the aromatherapy sense. They make me feel less anxious. And I think a tool like that should be open to everybody. So can you see, we have asked ourselves why 4 times, and we've actually got to the root cause of why someone would buy it and what that means for them. Okay, step 3. Basic shop info that builds trust. Studies have shown that since 2020, people have got a whole heck of a lot more skeptical when they are buying stuff online. So this part is going to be a little bit boring, but it's very much needed. It builds trust, okay? You need a clear shop name, preferably one that's easy to remember and spell, but also one that kind of describes what it is that you do. It's not a must have, but it's a nice to have. Like I see a lot of shops where it's like, I don't know, Paula's Polly's. And I'm like, cool. Do you sell like, I don't know, vintage Polly pockets or what do you do? And they go, oh no, I crochet scarves. And I'm like, okay, I didn't quite get that from your name. So it's just a good idea to just make sure that before you start that your name is kind of addressing what it is that you make, okay? The second thing is delivery times filled in fully. People need to know when on earth they're going to get their thing. Accurate policies. Now, if need be, use the templates that Etsy gives you, okay? And also a clear location, okay? I can honestly see people spending hours designing banners when their delivery times are really, really vague. Like, buyers don't care about your branding and aesthetic if the basics aren't even done, if they don't even know when their order is going to arrive. If your policies are filled in, they're accurate, they're all good, that's cool. Just make sure that you are happy with it, and just make sure that you're like, yeah, I think that if ever I was to come across a problem, like something arrived damaged or it wasn't delivered on time, I am confident that my policies are almost like my personal shop boundaries that I'm putting in place now and telling people about before they buy. Now, I'm not saying link that in your descriptions or anything like that, but I am saying just have something there to cover yourself. Trust is built in boring places. So being able to confidently tick those 4 things off, delivery time being visible, your returns policy filled out, your contact info is on there if you live in a country where that needs to be on there, and you have your location showing as well. It's basically the trust checklist that people want to see from you. Step 4, let's talk about pricing, okay? This is where a lot of people will quietly panic, and it will get to setting their prices and they'll quadruple guess themselves. And it'll be like, oh, maybe I should charge this. Maybe I should charge it. No, I should put it down. No, I'm going to put it up. No, I'm going to put it back down again. Like, I get this. I've been in your shoes. If your price is based on what feels reasonable, what others charge, and what you hope people will pay, you are setting yourself up to fail. This is where I have to put my business coach, tough love hat on. And I have to say, if you're not pricing right straight off the bat, you are setting your business up to fail. Your price needs to cover your material costs, your Etsy fees, your time, even at a basic rate. I see a load of people where they will make their first sale and then they'll be all excited and then they'll look at their profit and then they'll be like, oh, I've made a mistake. And then sometimes I'll see in groups, people will say, oh, I've just made my first sale, but I'm actually making a loss here. Do I fulfill it or do I cancel it? Now that part is up to you. But what you do next is important, because if your price covers your costs and it doesn't make you dread an order coming in, you're done. That's enough for now. I'm not going to give you a formula. I'm not going to give you overcomplicated stuff. I'm just going to say, hey, know your costs, know your time, know your materials, know your fees. And that for now can be enough, those 3 things alone. But you can also add on things like postage and packaging, and any additional extras that you give people. That can be pouches, leaflets, business cards, whatever. Know all of those things. Here's the golden rule that I'm going to leave you with when it comes to pricing. If you can't double it, whatever price it is now, without resentment, it's too low. So rounding this all up, like I said, you do not need perfect photos before you open your shop. You do not need multiple different product ranges and listings. You do not need constant sales copy rewrites. You do not need extra shop graphics and endless aesthetic tweaks. You just do not. And I feel like these tasks, they all feel very productive. They feel safe because there's no chance of you feeling rejected. And I think that's a cool thing to be aware of. When you're embarking on a business journey, it's so much more of a personal journey than it is a business journey. And you are going to begin to understand and actually see and feel a lot of stuff in your own head. Like pricing is a massive example of this. You know, there's almost this stigma of, oh, if I price too high, people are going to be like, I can't pay that. She's too big for her boots, blah, 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 blah. That's a mental block that actually probably needs to be worked on more than anything else. Because if you hope to, make bank, make some money, you do want to be raising your prices past those boundaries that you're comfortable with. Here's that final checklist, okay? 1 product, 1 clear listing, the basics filled in, sensible pricing. That is it. You are done with the setup phase at this point. Anything else is optional improvement that we can do later on. Here's what I want you to remember. Your Etsy shop does not need to be impressive to start off with. God knows, mine wasn't. So it needs to be open. Your job right now is not to polish anything. It's to publish. It's to observe. It's to improve based upon reality. So your homework is to go through this list that's on screen right now. 1 product, 1 clear listing, the basics filled out, sensible pricing, and rewatch this video if you want to, and actually pause it each time and go off and do the thing. It honestly should take you no more than an hour to get everything set up and done. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope this has been very calming and very helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already to see my upcoming stuff. This time next week, there'll be another episode out for you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do go and check out the podcast, because that's where you can listen to this whilst doing other things and not having to necessarily watch me on screen. So if that sounds good, if you feel like learning whilst you're walking the dog, making dinner, whatever, then that is going to be for you. But for now, my loves, thank you so much. And I will see you all real soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, make sure you hit the follow button so you never miss the next one. And also, why not come and hang out with me on Instagram? It's at Handmade Bosses for daily tips, behind the scenes. And also, don't forget, you can catch the video version of this podcast over on YouTube too. Until next time, keep going towards your handmade business goals, boss, because the world really does need those special creations that only you can make.